friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for another video. Today is Saturday, August 6th, and this is video number...
What was the question?
What's the video number?
Oh, this is something only wives are supposed to remember, not husbands. What year did we meet?
Let's see. It was the year I moved to Kansas City with my job. I was transferred to Kansas City. 76. Oh, I win! Ding, 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 ding. I'm surprised you remember that.
One of the best days of my life.
Oh my gosh. This is all for show. I just want y'all to know. He doesn't. Oh, yeah, he does. But anyway, hi, how are you? First of all, there's a few things I don't usually write notes. I did write myself a note and I left it in the other room. But few things I wanted to say for sure. The first one is thank you, thank you, thank you. I was overwhelmed with how the quilt sale went, and very thankful to my husband who did all the tech stuff and built the website and all of that good stuff. But he worked on it. Okay, so I recorded the video about the quilt sale that same weekend that I did my last stitchy, so it would have been 2 weeks ago. By the time you saw it, it was almost a week later. During that interim time, he was working at his computer, trying to insert the different things he wanted to insert about how to buy them, and et cetera, and the pictures and all that. So as I would be, messing around the house or coming in the kitchen, because he was sitting at the dining room table, I kept hearing my voice. And in order to put the inset in at the right time, he would play my voice and the same words again and then again. I got so sick of it. I swear, if I was ever in cross-stitch prison and I had a secret about where I was finding out-of-print charts or something like that, all they'd have to do to torture me to talk would be to play my own voice over and over and over. I'd be like, I give up, I know, I'll tell you. Whew, because that is, to hear your voice off and on, the same words for a week. Try it. Record your voice and then play it over and over. You'll be just like me. I'll be like, oh man, that's just torture. Anyway, glad to be back.
Sweet melody to me.
Sweet melody to him. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I'll be back in my room stitching. I'll come through and he's watching me. I'm like, why are you watching me? I live with you. He's like, oh, I like to watch. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is craziness. Anyway, I'm back. I do have a finish. But the other thing I wanted to say about the quilt video, I've sent some of the ready to finish quilt out. I'm working on making sure everything is, there's plenty of binding, all of that. I do have more quilts. And again, I have to go through the ones I have, make sure the backing that I put with it is big enough. When I quilt my own, I don't care if I only have, an inch bigger backing than the quilt. But for other people to quilt those, I need to make sure, and some of them I might have to put an inset in or something. Anyway, that's all part of the process of getting the quilts ready to sell. But I do have more, and at some point, maybe by the end of August or beginning of September, we'll be offering more quilts. Now, what I want to make sure is that even if you didn't get a quilt, but if you're maybe interested in buying a quilt, go to Carol's Quilt Shop on the website, and you may have to go back. Well, he'll put a link in here. make sure you sign up for emails, because that'll be one of the ways that I'll let people know that there's more quilts available to buy. Okay, enough about that. Let's see. I had a finish. I think I said this was one of the ones I wanted to work on. I know I mentioned this I'm not great at posting on Instagram. I like to occasionally go through and look at other people's posts. Although the algorithms lately on Instagram are kind of weird, because I'm getting a lot of ads and a lot of things like that rather than the people that I follow. So I'm just going to have to put more people in to notify me when they have a new post, because those I'm seeing, but I'm not always seeing other people's. Does that make sense? Does anybody else have that issue? Anyway, long story short, I had posted this on Instagram that I was on a mission to finish it, and I got it finished. And the sampler I'm talking about is by Chessie and me. Let me see if I can do it so that there's no... It's called the Mary Lindsay 1828 sampler. I did not do it because of the name Lindsay. My daughter's name is EY and this is AY, but whatever. It's Mary Lindsay 1828 sampler. And shoot, I bet I didn't grab the threads that I used. Oh well. I used the called for. On this it says Country Sampler Sal right there. It's by Chessie and me. I don't know how long ago I got this. It's been a couple years. They may have more. I don't know. So I used the called for, but I don't know if the called for were specific. I don't know if it was part of a club. I don't know. It kind of looks like it's part of a club. Country Sampler Stitch Along. And that's the picture of the pattern. And this is my finish. Now, the pattern says 36 count Vintage Light Exemplar by Lakeside, and that's what I used, but mine is 40 count. So I'm thinking, because of the way this side's not serged, I'm thinking I switched it out for a piece of 40 that was in my stash, but the same linen. So this is my finish. And let me show it a little closer, hold it up longer. That's the top part. And here's the bottom part. There's a lot of initials in there that she put in there that, like JL, MWL, JL, GL. So I'm sure they, with the exception of the very last one, I'm sure they all are initials of family, because the last name being Lindsay. So the interesting thing about this, let me see if I brought the pattern so I can just show you just a little bit of what I'm talking about. There's two types of eyelet stitches. And this one actually called for both. And I'll show you the eyelet stitches in just a second. So this one is called an eyelet. It's done over 4 threads. You come up and then you go into the center hole and you just keep going around. And when you do that, it forms this little hole in the center. So that's an eyelet. An Algerian eyelet is kind of abbreviated because you don't go into every thread, or you don't come up in every thread and go down into the center. Instead, you do kind of like every other one. So it's almost like a X and a plus, where this one, the eyelet stitch, is in every thread. So it's obviously, the eyelet is denser. So on the chart, get my coffee out of the way. Y'all have a favorite cup? This is my very favorite cup. I've had it for years and years and years. Starbucks. I think I had it before my daughter got married, and she got married in 07. So I've had it for a while. It's a Starbucks. Anyway, So if you'll look at the red band there, let me try not to talk in front of the microphone. We've started using my wool sewing mat, ironing mat, underneath the microphone so it doesn't do that kind of knocking sound. But you can barely touch the microphone. It's that sensitive and it can make a sound. So none of it's intentional, but... Okay, so the first part of this, starting where my finger is here, is the eyelet. And you can see where it looks darker. And then starting here where my finger is going the rest of the way, that's the Algerian. So you can tell how it's darker and then lighter because you have more threads on each one. Some people don't like to do eyelets. I really enjoy doing them, but they are tedious because you're doing basically 16 stitches, is that right? Yeah, 16 stitches into the center for each little block. So then the uppercase alphabet, and it only goes A through L, but the uppercase alphabet is all eyelet stitches. Now, I have it folded so you can't really see the holes that the, let me see if I can scrunch it. So see the holes, you can see the holes that each one of these little boxes is an eyelet stitch. Is it clear? I can't see what I'm showing you. Anyway, so that was a little tedious, but I love the look of eyelet stitches. I just love that look. So that was my finish. I finished that one. I think I finished it Thursday night. Yeah, I think I finished it Thursday night. So that again is Mary Lindsay by Chessie and Me. Mary Lindsay, 1828. Whoops, helps if you do it right side up. Mary Lindsay, 1828 by Chessie and Me. You'd have to call Country Sampler to see if they... I don't think they would probably still have the kit, but they may still have the pattern. So the next thing that I failed to show you last time is what I've been stitching on Sundays. Now this past Sunday I did not stitch on it because I was really working toward a finish on that Mary Lindsay. But I've been stitching on His Eyes on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery. Now this particular book was mailed to me generously by Beth Twist because she saw that I was stitching from the original pattern. When she released Consider the Lilies in a book, then she re-released His Eyes on the Sparrow in a book. But I'm using, well, I cross-referenced the book, but I'm also using the this pattern as kind of a working copy. So my friend and I are stitching on this on Sundays. Not together, just we're both stitching on it. And this is where I am on His Eyes on the Sparrow. So I'm a long way from finishing, but I do have some progress. Now I recently was watching, who was I watching? I think it was Socks for Mom, Becky. And she showed her finish on this. And she had done the side houses in red. It's like, well, why didn't I know about that at the time? I don't think I'll take it out. I loved the way that looked, but that's a lot of picking out. So this is where I am. I'm almost to the center of the top half. Now I do have border going down, but not all the flowers around. And I do have the band finished, His Eyes on the Sparrow. So this is a long-term project. So it's a WIP that if I'm working on it on Sundays, maybe, I don't know, in a few years, I'll have it finished. So that's where I am on that one. And it's a very fun. There's no over one. It's just, each time you do a little motif, it's just really fun. I love the peacock up there. Yeah, it's great. And I will continue to work on the border. Just getting at least the outline like I did here. You know, just the outline going. And then I usually go back and do those leaves and stems. So my friend Patty, she also is working on that on Sundays. And so she decided she needed to buy the book. When I showed her the book, she was like, oh yeah, I think I need the book. So she gave me her pattern to do a giveaway. And oh, I'm using 36 count Heartland by Picture This Plus with the called for fabrics. So this is her pattern, her chart, and she said, I'm going to give this to you to use as a giveaway. So the keyword, and I will draw next time, which also reminds me, the book for the giveaway from my quilt sale video, the one where you use the word club. Don't put club in this video because it won't, you do it by video. Anyway, that one is, I'll give that away on my next quilt video. But this one I'll give away on my next stitchy video. So if you're interested in stitching this, the keyword is going to be I. E-Y-E. I, like I. So that was very generous, Patty, to do that for a giveaway. So what else have I been working on? Since I'm on this mission to finish some WIPS. I'd love to say all of my WIPS, but... So the other night, I decided to pick this one up. This, I think you might be able to still get this. I know City Stitcher still has a website, and they still sell quilts. Patterns. Not quilts, quilt patterns. But this is number 20, the Adam and Eve sampler by the City Stitcher. This pattern was $5, so this one is not new. And I'm going to show you a picture. Hopefully you can see it from my phone. I saw this stitched on Tanya Brockmeyer's, well, shoot, now I got to relook it up. On her wall when I went to summer school in 2019, and I was just enamored with it. So let me see if I can find the picture of it on her wall. Here it is. So this is what it looks like. She stitched it. Thank you for Tanya. I didn't ask her if I could show this picture, but she also has it on Instagram, so I figure she wants to put it out there. Anyway, this is it, the City Stitcher. My dilemma, not really a dilemma. The picture shows that verse, which says, Adam and Eve, while innocent in paradise, were placed. But soon the serpent by his wiles the happy pair disgraced. Okay, the picture shows it all stitched in this green. Okay. And it uses all DMC. Tanya's, she used a brown and some blue. The chart actually is green and blue. So I'm stitching along. This is what I've done so far. And I've had this a WIP for a while. This has quite a bit of, it has eyelets. It has back stitching. It has satin stitching. So it has some other stitches besides cross stitching. And I'm stitching this on 46 count straw by Weeks. I think it's an old piece of wheat. No, it's Zweigart. But it was one that I had left from something. Anyway, so I started stitching the verse. I was with friends and I thought, well, I'll start stitching the verse. And then I realized it's like, okay, the verse is 2 colors, but the picture shows it in 1 color. And then Tanya has it in the blue and a different color. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't want to do a myriad of colors. So I'm either going to pick out those few words I did and do it in brown, or I'm going to do the whole thing in green, like the picture, which is what I'm leaning toward. But between these little things here, there's eyelet stitches because, I just did all those eyelets. So I'm just like thrilled to do some more. I don't mind doing them. It's just they're not speedy. Okay. So here's the DMC colors that I'm using. I love it. And I definitely want that finished. Do I want it finished instead of other things getting finished? Because I'm trying to be monogamous and just pick up a piece and finish it. I don't know. I'm thinking what I might do is finish this one while I'm deciding what to do about those words, what color to do the words. So this is Sarah Fletcher by Hands Across the Sea. I've shown this before. I'm pretty close. I'd say oops, I got a needle in here. I'm close to being halfway, I guess. Maybe a little more than halfway because there's something here. There's stuff here. But I've done all the border and all the flowers on the border. So this is Sarah Fletcher. I'm doing this on 40 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax. And I'm using the Belle Soie d'Alger skeins. Oops. Pretty reds, greens. So what I have left to do is basically all of this plus the name. But some of these are, so I'm thinking I need to finish this during the month of August. So if I could get this done in like a week or 10 days, and then I could go back to the City Stitcher, Adam and Eve sampler, then I could finish that. We'll see. Floss tube is all for me is all about we'll see. Well, we'll just see. I have ideas, and then it's like, okay, is this what I want to do? And sometimes I sit down to stitch in the evening, and I'm like, I think I want to do such and such. So, it just, we can change our mind. Here's one that I want to finish, and this I definitely want to finish because it's kind of fall-ish. It's a Blackbird piece called Kindred Spirits. I originally got it, I think, at a retreat, but I think it's been in a book. Don't ask me which book. I'm not sure. And you can do it as a drum, like the picture, or you could... So this is where I am on this one. So I have a lot finished on this, and what I really would like to do on this one is put the initials of my mother's side of the family as far back as I can go. So I'd start with my granddaughter, my daughter, me, my sister, my mom, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and then however far back. I think there's places for seven different initials. And even if I just did their first name initial. And then on the bottom of the drum, I'd have to put some sort of legend. So, 100 years from now when it's in the Goodwill, people are like, well, I don't want to buy that. That's got initials that I don't know who they are. So anyway, the initials go in the center of these, motifs, I guess is the right word. So that's where I am. So that would not take a super long time to finish, and it just has the 4 colors. No, I was right the first time, 3 colors. So it's very fall-ish. So I have that one. Then I have that over one. I showed you this last time. This is another one. I don't like to keep showing you the same things over and over. It's like, let's get them finished, girl, instead of just talking about them. That one's the over one. That's where I am on that one. Then I have this one. This is a Loose Feathers number 37. I don't know this has ever been released, but this you maybe could get it on the secondary market. I don't know. It's called It's Berry Time. And I love this little strawberry here that's stitched. And then there's also a little needle book in here. See, there's really no other pictures other than those. But the little stitched strawberry is cute. Don't you love how Barb and Elmo display things? They're just so cool. So that's It's Berry Time, Loose Feathers number 37. And it is one color, calls for, and my original kit was like 30 count. So I kept the linen, even though I knew I didn't want to do it on 30 count, so that I could match it. So I'm doing it on a piece of 40 count. I'm not sure what this is. Good question. Kind of looks like Butter Pecan by Lakeside. And that's where I am on that one. I started doing this when Brenda and Laura did the first weekend every month. Blackbird, Sal. Oh, don't you love how these Sals kind of go by the wayside? I guess everybody finished all the Blackbird. I didn't. Anyway, the color is Wild Berries. And Classic Colorworks used to be called Crescent Colors. But now it's Classic Colorworks. But it's still Wild Berries. And that's where I am on this one. Again, there's a lot of stitching on this, more than you would think with all that stuff, all the hanging doodads and dealy-wops. But, you know, come on, Carol, you could get that done. Originally came out, looks like 2009. So that's another one that I don't think it would take a lot. You know, when I say not a lot, you know, maybe a couple weeks working on it, that I could get it finished. That would be a huge accomplishment to get those finished. What is this? Oh, that's the colors from His Eyes on the Sparrow. Here's another one that I really would like to finish. Well, I've talked about this one long enough. This is the last time I'm going to show it. If I don't get it done soon, I'm going to stop showing it. This is Thousand Hills by Plum Street. I haven't done any more on it than I did last time, so there's where I am. Enough said. Stop talking. I think that's done on an R&R, maybe Winter Brew. Did I show it too fast? People say I show things too fast. Thousand Hills. I've shown it. It kind of goes with that one right there that I picked up last time. And these are the colors. So that needs to get done. One more that I'm going to show you that's a whip. And again, I just need to finish this. This is the New England Sampler by Scarlet Letter. A lot of alphabets. Let's see. I'm trying to see if it says if there's any other kind of stitches. Oh, more eyelets. Of course there are. They're following me everywhere I go. Okay, so if you did it on their lower, you know, like 25 count, then it's pretty big. But I'm doing it on, yeah, if you did it on 25 count, it's like, I don't know, 14 by 18, but I'm not doing it on that. So you have eyelets, you have rice stitch, you have four-sided stitch, and you have satin stitch. And I like to do all of those. Those are not hard. So this is the New England Sampler by the Scarlet Letter. She has a great website too, easy to order from. And this is where I am on that one. And I am using a piece of seaweed, 40 count seaweed by Fox and Rabbit, which really is very close to that This used to be called Lindsay Woolsey because it was a woven with linen and wool. And there's a whole history of Lindsay Woolsey. I think Susan Stanley has talked about it. Anyway, that's where I am. So I have the border all finished, working on the bands. I wanted to get in and add a little of the red. So there again, you know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks I could finish this one. You know, if I could get 10 of my WIPs finished, I'd be a happy camper. I have a few fall WIPs that I'm going to show you. And I don't think we're going to go a whole lot longer, but we'll see. This one I get out every year. This is pumpkin season. And this is by Exemplars from the Heart. This may be one that 1884 Stitchery McKenna may have recharted. I don't know that for sure. I want to say she's done, or maybe Exemplars from the Heart is still available. I don't know. This one's called Pumpkin Season. I started this 2 years ago, and I haven't really gotten very far on it. But this is a great one to do fill in. So I may take this with me on, I'm going to 2 more retreats. One in Kansas City in September, the Coulter Station, and then Amana late October. So this would be a great one to work on when you're stitching with friends. And I haven't gone very far. This is where I am. So I'm working on that house. This is a mystery linen. It's kind of light for me, but it's going to make some great contrast. Plus, a lot of this is like a full coverage. And I really wanted it to look similar to the pictures, which is kind of a light linen. And with that, I have the NPIs, which are these luscious fall colors. Because I'm getting a little bit in the mood to stitch fall. Now, if it was April and I looked at a fall WIP, I'd be like, can't do it. If it's summer, Christmas in July, I have trouble doing it. I stitch in the season. I don't know, it just kind of goes with the ambiance of the season. Even if I don't finish it that year, obviously, I still would like to work on it during the season. Now, we don't really have fall here till January, but by January, I'm past pumpkins. So I definitely want to pick this up. Now, I know September is Sampler September, but for sure I want to pick this up for sure soon. The next WIP that I started is by Carriage House. This is a pair. This is Frederick. I love folk art. I love primitive. I love folk art. I'm the only thing I'm not is a pastel or bright person. Not very bright. Although I do like Blackbird because to me that's a vintage pastel. Does that make sense? So this is Frederick by Carriage House. And this one I'm also using the NPIs. Again, these luscious fall colors, oranges, sagey greens, just really pretty. And this one, this is not huge. I'm doing this on, hold please, 40 count purled barley by Lakeside. Back in the day, I got 2 pieces that were exact fits. I think from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. That looks like their label. And this is where I am on Frederick. So I've got the border. I'm working on the diamonds in the border. And again, this is 40 count pearl barley. Isn't that a great size though? So this piece is 9 by 13. So perfect. So Frederick has sister, girlfriend, wife, partner, I don't know. And her name is Fredericka. So I'm not taking it out of the plastic. So we have Frederick and Fredericka. And if you do them like this, they're kind of looking back at each other. Or like this, they're looking away from each other. So take your pick. They use the same colors. So on August 24th, I was watching Lost in Floss. Barb was talking about on August 24th, she wants as many people as can to do a new start in memory of Leanne, her floss tube partner that passed away. So if you're interested, August 24th. Now, I don't need a new start at all, but I thought this would be a good one because I know I want to finish Frederick, and I definitely want to also do Fredericka. So in my theory of working on WIPS, I thought this would be a great one for a new start. August 24th. The hashtag is Leanne's Legacy, in honor of Leanne, Barb from Lost in Floss, her floss tube partner and friend that passed away last year, 2 years ago, I think. So that is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do a new start on that one. And at least work on that same border as the other one. And I'd like to pick this one up too. I think that would be, I know a lot of people have done this one. I just think this is genius. I'll let you see it one more time. It's just fabulous. And this one is Frederick, and there's also Fredericka by Carriage House Samplings. Okie dokie. Then another fall one that is a whip. I'm embarrassed to say my friend gave me this kit years ago. Well, let's see. When was this? This was put out. Oh, it doesn't have a date. I don't believe it has a date. Oh, 2011. She probably gave it to me in 2010. No, she gave it to me in 2011 because that was my 50th birthday. My daughter got some of my friends together and surprised me with a little get-together on a Saturday morning, like a brunch, for my 50th birthday. And my friend gave me this one all kitted. Now, at the time, the kit was 30 count. So no offense, Susan, but I ditched the 30 count, and I started this last year on a piece of, what is this? It's 36 count, and it has the same flavor. I'm not sure what the name of this linen is. It's a mystery linen. So this is by Blackbird. It's called Raven Bewitched. And true to form, there's a needle in it. And this is where I am on this one. So again, October, this would be a great time to stitch fall and work on this one. So Raven Bewitched, I don't know if this is still available or not, by Blackbird. And it has all these stars. Some are done in, well, here's the color palette. You have hickory sticks, cherry bark, wood trail, espresso bean, garden gate, old purple paint. That's what, so the colors are wonderful, very fallish. So Raven Bewitched by Blackbird. That's another one that I'd like to stitch on in October. Now, I know it's just August. I'm just kind of planning because I'm starting to think about fall. So if I keep these out, you know, maybe I can finish some of them and take them out of the WIP pile. Here's another one, and this one I actually forgot to count in my WIPs. So, does that mean I don't have to finish it? I do have to finish it. This is a chart by the Workbasket. I have no idea if this is available. This one is called Quaker Crow. I love that stand up, and that is how I want to finish it. The Workbasket, Quaker Crow. I thought I was farther along on this, actually. I'm really not. This is 36 count sand dune. I kind of wish I'd done it on 40, but I had this piece of sand dune, 36 count. And I think the coverage will be fine. It's a little sparse now when you're looking at just black, you know, black, black, black. It's all done. I'm doing it in NPI Noir, Noir, which is black. So that's all the farther I am. But I'm down to this, you know, you can see I'm started this like stair step. So I'm right here. So this is, you know, this will go fast. And of course, the feet will go fast. Feet? They call them feet? Legs? What do they call birds? They don't call them feet. They call them legs. The legs of a bird. Is that right, dear?
Oh, they have feet at the end of their legs.
We have this joke in our family. My sister, when she was really little, maybe I've told this before. My dad went up to wake her up because all the kids were upstairs in the bedrooms, and he said, "Oh, listen to that bird." And her bed was literally in a alcove because we had a Cape Cod style house. So the head of her bed was in the alcove. And he said, "Oh, you can see the bird. Look out there." And he said, "Look at its beautiful." And my sister quickly said, "Arms." He said, "No, they're wings. On a bird, they're wings." She said, "Well, they call them wings, but they're really arms." You'd be surprised how that saying applies to so many things that people are naming incorrectly. So they call them whatever, legs, but they're really feet. They call them wings, but they're really arms. So anyway.
Move on, dear.
Now we have a peanut gallery. Y'all know the peanut gallery? Howdy Doody. Wasn't that the peanut gallery from Howdy Doody?
We regress.
Oh, I'm going to the movies today. I'm so excited. I'm going to go see the Minion movie with the grandkids and my daughter. That's going to be fun. So I can't go too much longer because I got to leave in about a half hour to go to the movies. Okay. Do I have any other WIPs in here? No. I just have a couple things that really are on my want to stitch for fall. Okay, so I've got enough here to keep me going for 2 fall seasons, but I'm going to still show you things. This one I got last year, and I kitted it. This is called Fall's Gifts by Carriage House. I love those pumpkins. Now, it's done on black linen. I'm not a huge fan of stitching on black linen. So I decided to use a piece of 36 count. I mean, I kitted it. I haven't started it yet. Weeks Chestnut. Chestnut 36 count weeks. This is the old weeks. And by old, it just means that some of their newer dyes are on Zweigart, and the older dyes are not on Zweigart. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the linen. Although I do like the Zweigart better, but, and I have NPI kitted. I mean, in the kit for that. Look at how wonderful. Fabulous. This is why I have so many WIPS, because I see things like that and I'm like, oh, Laura, you have competition to be a serial starter. So again, Fall's Gifts by Carriage House. And Carriage House has a website. It's carriagehousesamplings.com. How cute is that? I love the one that has the house in it. No, that's got the people. Where's the one with the, oh, I guess there isn't one with the house. I thought there was. I must be thinking of something else. But it has the people in it. People in a pumpkin. Just adorable. Next one is actually in this Winds of Autumn book by Blackbird. This came out, this is still available. But mine was a kit, and it's that giant strawberry with the crow, or the blackbird, whatever. So it's in this book. Hold, please. There's a couple others in this book that I really want to do. So here's a better picture of it. It's in Winds of Autumn. It's a ginormous strawberry. I might have some velveteen. You kind of need some velveteen for the leaves at the top of the strawberry. The other one I need to do in here is the October 31st. This originally was a kit. I did not have the kit originally. But now that I have the book, I can stitch that one. And then here's a kit that I never did. Again, it's in that same book. It's called Bittersweet Lane. This was a Dying to Stitch kit at one time, also in that book. Winds of Autumn has a lot of great, great designs by Blackbird. There's a better picture of it. Bittersweet Autumn. Oh, she calls it Bittersweet September. They call it Bittersweet September. Did I say Bittersweet Autumn? What did I say? Oh, that originally it was Bittersweet Lane. Now it's Bittersweet September. Anyway, if you're looking for some fall things to stitch, this is a great book. Well worth the price. And it has so many, it has 12 projects in here. I mean, you could make one purchase and have some great fall pieces. Here's another one. Oh my gosh, I want to start this. This is the Gather In by Plum Street. This came, I think this came out last year. Yeah, no, 2020. I think it was 2020. It was at a retreat. And it calls for Graham Cracker, which is a fabric by Teresa Vanette Kitten Stitcher's son. And I have a piece of that. Great big piece, so I have to cut that down. I'm using 40 count. It called for 36, but I'm going to use 40 count. I don't think I have the threads with that. Or maybe I do. Yeah, here's the threads for it. That just screams fall. There's this other one that I wanted to show you. This one, some people are stitching on this, Jack's Bash. I'll show you the name first, and then I'll turn it sideways so you can see the chart. Jack's Bash by Plum Street. This is like their the Heritage Sampler and all of those in that Rhode Island style. Love it. And then the last one I want to show you is another. This one is by Kathy Barrick, and this is a large girl. This one measures 419 by 269. So it's almost 21 by 13.5, and it's Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. I love that. Again, another one that just screams fall. And I have that kitted with a piece of, this was a piece that Kitten Stitcher dyed herself, 40 count thrift store breeches. It has a little bit of a gray. It's a little darker than it's showing on the anyway, I'm not going to do the back and forth. We try. We really try. And I have that one kitted with the NPI silks. Again, this is why I have so many WIPS. And of course, then there's Sampler September, which I'm not even talking about on this video because there's a couple of samplers that I really want to start. Too much. We all want to do everything. But I'm thankful I can stitch. I'm thankful that it's a hobby that is relaxing, and a couple years ago, my sister-in-law passed away, and I just loved her to pieces. But she didn't have really any hobbies other than crosswords and puzzles. Now, I really got into a puzzle. Last weekend, we had the grandkids. We had Elijah on Thursday night. We had Camille on Friday night. And Elijah and I really got into doing a puzzle. It's still not finished. He was like, "You finished it?" I was like, "No, don't panic. It's not finished." And so I understand how puzzles can be fun. I never was into word puzzles, but a regular 500-piece puzzle I think is fun. But there's something even more satisfying about stitching, especially for me, reproduction samplers, to re-stitch a sampler that a girl did in the 1800s, 1700s. It's just, it's such a connection. And I just really, I mean, I have a 7-year-old granddaughter. I don't know how these girls, maybe they whipped the stew out of them to get them to sit and stitch. But there's so many things that distract us today that I don't know that girls now would persevere enough, or they seem to be more impatient. But I don't know. Maybe the girls back then wanted to go out and run around. Who knows? We don't know. We just assume that we know, but we don't. So anyway, that is all I have. 52 minutes. I think that's pretty good. And I still have time to get a bite to eat before I go eat popcorn at the movies. So, did I say we're going to see the Minion movie? I'm so excited. I love those Minions. I'm not a big movie person. I'd rather stay at home, make my own popcorn, and watch a movie at home. But there's something fun about going to a kid's movie. Because a lot of times there's some humor in it that's funny for adults, too. So, anyway. So, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope this is finding you able to do a lot of stitching, and I'll be back in 2 weeks for stitching. I don't know when my next quilt video, whenever I get some quilts ready, but my next quilt video is going to be on mini quilts, M-I-N-I, mini quilts. I have a lot of small quilts that I've done and that I wanted to show, but it also will probably include a few more quilts that'll be for sale. So I don't know the date on that yet, but hopefully I'll do that in August. And I hope you all are doing well. See ya. Bye. Love ya.